Quick disclaimer here, trading is very risky and carries a high level of risk. Anything said here is not a financial advice. Make sure you trade with money you can only afford to lose. Stay safe. Hi everyone, it's a beautiful weekend here again. If you are new to this channel, this is the voice of TRADEWITHWORLDBANK, and every week or every Saturday we drop detailed analysis on whatever we're expecting for the next week on these few pairs: Euro USD, Euro CHF, and GBP USD, and the last crypto pair, Bitcoin. Sometimes we look at the volatility index, sometimes we don't. It just depends on requests. So from last week we started with Euro CHF, and yeah, let's go back to the weekly time frame to see where we're coming from. So on the weekly time frame, we're very bearish and always looking for selling opportunities, when market is bearish, or when it's bullish, we look for buying opportunities. So from what you can see here, we have this beautiful supply here, price tapped barely above it, more like a liquidity grab. Then it's back into the supply zone, acting as like resistance. Now it's selling off, so we still want to continue with our flow. And this was the supply zone we drew out last week. They were expecting some sales from here and then continue dropping, but look at what happened. Went a little bit above and then started dropping, but nonetheless it's still fine. And I was expecting a little bit retracement into this demand zone or this demand zone, but I was talking about this extra demand zone because if you want the link to the video, is going to pop up in a minute so you can watch it again. I was expecting this extreme demand zone because of this liquidity over here, and this one is more extreme, but markets didn't even do any of that, just continued going up. So what do we have this week to focus on? After hitting the supply zone, started dropping, so I can just delete that. Now, where are the fresh supply zones we have again, since we are still very bearish? We have a supply zone from there, break of structure to the left. Yeah, so I'll be using this supply zone, taking all these as liquidity. Yeah, taking all those as liquidity, and then you can take some counter trend buys from the demand zone here. Counter trend buys, those buys just before retracements, to catch the retracements of all these long movements before taking your initial trade on the real supply zone. So that is the essence of the demand and supply. As you all know, market moves from form to form, from demand to supply, support to resistance, stuff like that. So this demand zone too is still very active, but I'll still love this demand zone because we've got liquidity over here. But nonetheless, if I hit this supply zone first, if I get a touch from this supply zone first, then that would be very, very nice. So I won't be expecting any buy again, you understand? I won't be expecting any buy. Only if we get another probably supply zone from there, then I'll be taking a buy here into the second supply zone. So that is that on Euro CHF, coming from the weekly time frame, very bearish. And on the daily now, we want to look for, on the 1 hour, we want to look for selling opportunity. Now the next pair on our list is Euro USD. Let's go to the weekly time frame to see what has happened. Euro USD, same thing, very bearish. Let's go to the daily. Yeah, so the daily is clearer now. I over refined this, you can see it didn't trigger, so that is the disadvantage of over refining. Had it been I use the old supply zone like this, yeah, you can see it touched it and dropped massively, but nonetheless, let's look for more opportunities. Let's look for more opportunities. Let's go down to the 1 hour time frame again. So this one hits it nicely. So where are the opportunities to sell from? We have a supply zone here. I would like to use this one here, since we have a recent break of structure over there, break of structure, and I can decide to use this extreme one also. Yeah, I can decide to use this extreme one. So we have two supply zones. But nonetheless, I'll still love to use this extreme supply, Fibonacci and the likes. Let's draw it from this swing guy to this swing blue. Now you can see this one has low probability, this one has high probability. This one is exactly on 0.6, but let's see from this swing guy. Okay, now this one is still has more high probability, is on 0.7. So either from this swing or this swing, this supply zone here is very, very probable. It has high probability. So, but nonetheless, it all points down to my entry. If I get WYCKOFF and it's happening during a particular session I would love to see, then why won't I take the sell? I'll definitely take the sell. So that will make it high probability. Or else, for those, you can just use instant spending orders over here. Spending orders will be here. Stop loss. Then now the stop loss is wide because it's my want to mitigate something here. You understand? All the wicks over here, it's my want to mitigate it. You understand? So the stop loss should be above, and you can get your sales. But for me, I'll still love to see entries. Okay, I'll still love to see entries over here. But this is the ideal entry. You understand? So when I get my entry, my stop loss will be somewhere around 5 pips. So that will be that on Euro USD. Then target is going to be the next demand zone. So the demand zone, never forget, the demand zone are just for retracements. Yeah, I love this. Now this demand zone here, this one is acting as what? Inducement. Remember on the YouTube short I dropped, inducement is more like when it is about to, it's trying to touch the demand zone or supply zone, just to make people to enter and forget about the supply zone, or to enter and then it will drop back into the initial supply zone. So it's one of the two. It's either it allows people to enter like this and you forget about the whole supply zone, or you enter and then it drops immediately and then into the supply zone. But look at what is happening here right now. It's created the inducements. That's created the inducements, but it's now making it to look like this supply zone is no longer valid because it's almost touched it over here. But nonetheless, the supply zone is still very active. I'll be taking this as inducement. You understand? So that will be that on Euro USD. I'll be looking for buying opportunities here also. If I don't get a sell here, but if I've gotten sell here, maybe price does this first, then I might really ignore this demand zone over here, or touch this first, I might ignore the demand zone. So since we are overall bearish, remember, since we're overall bearish, I want to take the sales first before jumping into the buys. But if it doesn't touch the supply first and touch the demand, I'll use it as a retracement. You understand? Just like Euro CHF. And yeah, that is what I have over here. So this is what I'm expecting for next week. Yeah, GBP JPY, the last currency pair over here. Let's go back to the weekly. Wow, look at spiking to and fro, spiking to and fro. Look at what is happening over here. Yeah, just like what I explained, inducements. I can see what's happened. Tap the initial demand zone. So this one also, look at this type of inducement now. These inducements made people to almost forget about the demand zone. It went up, went up, went up. So you might even forget that, oh, there's a demand zone somewhere around here. And then look at what happened. Just sit and then spiked to the upside. So that is what inducement does. Is either it moves up a little bit and then comes inside real demand or supply zone, or it moves up, making you to forget about the demand zone. So that is what inducement does. Then, where are we on GBP JPY? Are we bullish or bearish? Are we bullish or bearish? Now, let me explain this. Okay. Now, from the left, we are very bullish, but look at what we have right now. Let's start with the wicks. Look at the wicks over here. Creating liquidity to and fro. Liquidity above over here. And yeah, look at this also. So now I'm using the wicks to analyze because it's looking bullish, but when I'm coming back to the current market price is looking bearish. So this is where a reversal might want to start, stuff like that. So I'm using the week. That's why I said I'm using the week. Now it still is this demand zone. It is this demand zone, and look at the sharp or active response. You understand? So it means buyers are still very active here. It means this trend is, it's still, the bulls are still in power. That is an indicator. Then let me move to the daily time frame. Before I move to the daily time frame, I'm also seeing something over here. I'm seeing this change of character. Yes. So now, why am I calling this change of character? Remember, this is the only break of structure we've had, right? So let me change it to break of structure so you don't get confused. Now, this is the first break of structure to the downside, right? After this very long trend, you can see that is the only break of structure to the downside. Is there any break of structure to the downside since then? Maybe this, you understand? But this is a kind of weak break of structure. It's not impulsive compared to this one. You can see very, very strong. So I'll take that as the first break of structure. So the first break of structure is the change of character, signifying that, okay, this trend might want to change from bullish to bearish, you understand? So, and then we've gotten liquidity grabbing or taking out all the liquidity inside here. Let me draw another trend line here. Yeah, grabbing the liquidity inside here. Yes, inside this supports over here. Now, what am I expecting next? So after change of character, we have the supply zone, right? Weekly supply, nicely mitigated, right? Nicely mitigated, nicely triggered. Now let's move to the daily time frame. Okay, so then we can decide to delete a little bit of junks. Let me just leave that. So yeah, now I can decide to refine it. Remember last week we were talking about this supply zone actually. So I can decide to refine it and look at what is happening right now. Sellers are inside. Now, just like I said in the previous YouTube shorts, inducement again, right? This is inducement. So giving us more confidence to this supply zone. Nice. Okay. Now we've hit the supply zone. What do we want to start looking for? We want to start looking for selling opportunities. Let's move to the 4-hour time frame. Since it has hit it, we might not really want to refine again. Understand? So the refining should not pass here. Yeah, since we have a colored candle over here. Yeah, you can see now. So let's move to the 1-hour time frame. But before moving to the 1-hour time frame, I'm seeing this beautiful, you can call this change of character too, right? But I'll just give it break of structure since we already have something change of character here. So let's move to okay, this is the supply zone that caused that break of structure. I'll take this as inducement again. You can see it's happening over and over. You understand? So over here you can use your instant spending orders, but for me, stop loss might be up to 50 pips. Let's check. You can see 34 pips. So, but nonetheless, let's leave that for the future. Let's leave that for the future. Yes. So moving to the 1-hour time frame now, want to follow price. Okay. Now following this 1-hour time frame, look at it now. Still, the supply zone is still intact, very active. So I don't want to. Now the stop loss will be here. Yes, stop loss will be there. Right now, what do we have again? We have another break of structure here. This is the most recent break of structure, right? No, this is the most recent. We always want to use the most recent just to follow the price. Following the most recent break of structure, look at what we have here. Resistance, liquidity grab, break of structure, supply. Right. This just looks like Euro USD and Euro CHF that we analyzed before. Now, this analysis is a little bit clear. Now you can see where we are coming from. We're coming from a confused weekly time frame, right? It was telling us bullish, but inside here it was telling us it is bearish. But look at what we can decipher from everything that is happening on this price action right now, on this chart right now. So we have a demand zone here that price is reacting to. Yeah, so I want to use that actually. but it might just be for retracement into this supply zone or this supply zone. Let's continue flowing. Okay, so as I was saying, I'll use the most recent breakup structure because that is the most recent and I want to follow price from wherever it is currently. Or else this is the second supply zone. I want to use this supply zone right. So let me mark out my drawing to here. Target to be wherever it wants to be. Now, this is another supply zone over here, right? Yes, that is why I drew. Yeah, that is why I drew this breakup structure. This one. Yeah, that is why I drew it. Look at it now. This one is acting as inducements over here. You can see this supply zone that we are is acting as inducements. Now we are really having a lot of zones, right? We are having a lot of zones, and I don't want to have more than just 2 zones, 2 supply zones. Okay, just 2 supply zones. So what do? I can just come out and use the Fibonacci, and then I'll use the zones above 0.5. Yeah. So we only have one zone above 0.5, which is this supply zone over here. And this supply zone is barely on 0.5. So what am I going to do? I'll just use this supply zone. Sorry. I'll just use this one. Delete this. And yeah, just okay, let me delete this. Yeah, dancing. Now I still love what I'm saying here. I love what I'm saying here. I would still love to take entries from this one here because it's barely on 0.5. 0.5 is somewhere here, right? So it might just weak a little bit, give you your entry and then drop. It's fine. You understand? But looking at this supply zone over here, it might not give you an entry actually. It might just, come inside weak, create a weak over here and drop. You understand? So grabbing the old liquidity, inducements, and the likes. So that is why I said I would love to use this one since it's near to this one like this. You understand? Or else it continues going up to this point, and then I'll look for my entries inside the supply zone after the inducement is created. Okay. So this is enough analysis for GBP JPY. Yeah, this is enough. And last week we over refined, so it didn't really touch the supply zone. But look at it over here. This will have been a beautiful entry, right? This is a supply zone, and look at what happened. So let's go to the 5 minutes time frame for that. Okay, this will have been the first supply zone here for the entry, right? This will have been the first supply zone here for the entry. But look at what happened. Midnight, and can see how beautiful the entry was. Dropped, right? Then the next entry will be where? Somewhere here. Over here, stop loss will be above here, right? But then you can use 15 minutes. You understand? So you can see what happened. Tapped into it, stop loss above. If this entry was here, stop loss above. But I use this. So left to me, I don't like taking this kind of trades after the Asian session. I'll probably use 15 minutes or the 1 hour time frame again for confirmation. Understand? And then look at the drop. So you could have gotten some entries over here, but Asian session midnight might miss it, and then this will be the second entry, right? Secondary entry, which is beautiful. So what we're expecting for the week, for next week, not so much, just this. Okay, either from this supply or this supply. But this supply, it would be nice to use instant spending orders, but look how we have 67 pips. This is too wide. Okay. Then the next pair we have here, which is going to be the last, is BTC. Now everything looks bearish here, just like the previous pairs we've been looking at. Yeah, nothing clean, nothing different, nothing special over here. It has been dropping and still dropping. Okay, still dropping. I'm trying to draw out every bit of demand zone to the left, but I'm not seeing anything right now. So all I can see here is let's use the other flow. Let's use what we have here now. You can see broken out from this weekly demand, weekly support, sorry. Weekly support broke out, but the breakout is not strong, you understand? But let's still see. Might just want to retest a little bit and then continue selling. Nonetheless, let's move to the daily time frame to see what we have. Okay. So these are supply zones and price might head to in the future, but that will be a very long time. So let's move to the 1 hour to see what we have. Very choppy at the moment, but then we have supply zone drawn out already. Yeah, and you can take some counter trend buys into the supply zone. Yeah. So this is it. Just this is what I'm expecting. You can see the sales over here have been mitigated nicely. The supply zones. Yeah, one of my students was trying to catch this but got out on break even. I was also trying to catch ADUSD NFP but got out on break even. But nonetheless, it's fine as long as it still went according to the plan and everything. I'm still fine with it. So yeah, I'm expecting it to come into the supply zone. Then you can look for counter trend buys. We can make use of liquidity grab, WYCKOFF accumulation right into the supply zone, and then you can look for your confirmation and sell entries on this supply zone as you proceed. So I think that will be all for now, guys. If you are new to this channel, make sure you subscribe. Peace, guys. I'm out.